You know, life has a way of surprising us. We've all had unexpected moments that really end up impacting who we are. I'm Chavie, and let me tell you, I've had my fair share of these moments. On Totally Unexpected, I don't just interview my guests. We have long, meaningful conversations to explore the twists and the turns that change their lives. You won't only be hearing from the guest, you'll be hearing from me and my thoughts and reflections, just as I would be doing in real life. These aren't traditional interviews, they're conversations about struggle, growth, and the moments that make us human. We all just want to feel connected. At least I do. And if we end up feeling a little less alone, that would make me so happy. Welcome back to Totally Unexpected. I am so excited to be back. Just got back from our 2-week summer trip, not vacation. It's a trip when you're with your family, and oh boy, was it something else in so many ways. I love to explore and to travel. I'm definitely not one of those people that's going to wait till my kids are out of the house to explore the world. No way that's happening. And I think there's something really powerful about traveling with your family. And holy smokes, is it hard? So I think I mentioned that it was so wonderful to get away from regular routine, cooking, hosting, just day-to-day life. It's so nice to remove yourself from that. And at the same time, it didn't feel like I got a nervous system reset because my kids were with me and they were in true form. You take along everything with you. So we just got back a couple of days ago, definitely dealing with jet lag, definitely dealing with reacclimating into life and responsibilities and getting the kids ready for school and back into my job. I'm actually a little bit incredulous that my kids still have 2 weeks till school starts. We are definitely ready. It's been a really long summer. So just a lot going on. My brain's it's a little frustrating because you think you're going to come back and just be fresh. And in many ways, I am, but in many ways I'm not. So I'm just wrestling with that a little bit. I did a really fun recap of our trip in Substack, also on Instagram. I posted every single day a recap of the day, which was really fun to do for me. And also for myself, I love to look back and see our trips. I did the same thing last year and I look back at it all the time and remember oh, this is what we did and this is what I was feeling. And I really love that. I don't know if you guys appreciate it. Sometimes I'm oh, if only I could do those, video vlogs and edit a really concise, short minute reel that gives you all the details or voiceover or whatever. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. And I don't know how to do it. I don't really want to. And so I did it the way that I know how. So I hope you check it out and I hope it will be appreciated. I definitely appreciate it for myself, but it's also nice to have a different style recap on Substack. Another big transition that happened during this time was my sister, Bracha, and her husband, Mendel, and her son, Lenny, who's my best friend in the whole wide world. We love each other so much. Yes, he's 18 months. They were here for a year, just being on the Bozeman, Montana Shluchas team. And it was incredible. It was meant to be for a year. Of course, once you get started, you're maybe it could be for longer. But they left this last week and it's really hard. Even though it's going to happen, it doesn't make it easier when it does. And you kind of just hope that it's not going to. And I basically avoided it. And now I got home and they're not here. And I'm really not happy about it. It was a really cool thing to have them here for a year. We're actually bringing another couple down for a year. Right now, this system is really working for us to have kind of like internships. It's not like a long-term commitment, and it's a lot less pressure. It's a lot less like you have to decide for the rest of your life, this is what you're going to do. So it really works. And I'm excited to integrate the new couple. And was something really special about having my sister here. I'm the oldest. She's the youngest. And my father calls us the bookends. And it was just awesome. It was really incredible. And I'm so grateful to have had the experience and the opportunity. This year will be something that I look back at with such like fond memories and full heart. And I'm still kind of grieving and sad. And this will be the first Shabbos. They moved into my house every Shabbos. So this will be the first Shabbos that we're not together. And I'm not sure how I'm going to handle it. But that is life. We go through transitions. We have to just pull up our big girl pants and do the hard things, which actually brings me to the question that I asked on Instagram for the outro of the episode. And that was all about going out of your comfort zone, doing hard things. Is there something that you are holding back from doing because it's scary? And so stay tuned for that at the end. And without further ado, I am so super duper excited to introduce our guest for this episode, none other than Naomi Salfati. I've been dreaming of having her on my podcast. It's also, okay, let me introduce her before I get carried away. Okay, so she is such a cool person. She is so many things, but you might know her as the founder of AstroTorah, and she bridges Kabbalah, astrology, psychology to help people understand themselves and their purpose. And let me tell you, she's amazing. And I actually had the privilege, probably about a year ago, to have a session with her. And it really did impact my life in a really real way. And I am very into this kind of stuff. I love astrology. I think it's so fun. For me personally, I like to understand people and I like to understand myself. And sometimes I need something outside to help me understand the things that I'm feeling or why I'm doing the things I'm doing, or, just why my life is the way that it is. And this is not a discussion on astrology in connection to Torah. We actually have an episode that talks more about that with Mendel Zirkin. That was one of my first episodes, which also has such a warm place in my heart. You want to hear something crazy? Both of these episodes were done on my birthday. 2 years ago was Mendel Zirkin, and this year was Naomi Salfati, and unplanned. It just happened to fall out on my birthday. So I view it as like a little birthday gift to myself to be able to take a deep dive and talk to someone that is so knowledgeable and is so fascinating. And so you get to join in on my little birthday gift, deep dive on astrology. This episode is very much a deeper understanding of astrology. We go much deeper than just surface level, and it is amazing. And you know what? And if you're hearing this and you're like, forget it, I'm not into astrology, I'm turning it off, I challenge you to do something uncomfortable and just to listen, because I think you might even gain something or learn something or just have a different perspective. I always like to learn about things, even if it's something that I don't necessarily jive with or I just don't know enough about. Knowledge cannot hurt. And this is a good episode to dip your toes in and to give it a try. One of my favorite parts of this episode, I'm giving a teaser, okay? Because, I want you to be super excited. One of my favorite parts of this episode was I asked Naomi to give us, in very short, best and worst traits of each zodiac sign. And it's just so fun. It's just so fun. And don't take anything personally. We all have we all have the things we shine in, and we all have our shadow side. And I think it's really cool to know, like, what is your trigger, or what's your trip up zone, or what is the thing that you struggle with. Knowledge is power. Okay, for real. Without further ado, Naomi Salfati, enjoy. Thank you for coming along on my very exciting birthday gift to myself that I'm sharing with you, even though it wasn't a planned birthday gift, but Hashem knows. Hashem knows what you need, on your birthday, especially as a Leo, which you'll hear more about. Okay, see you on the other side. If you want to sponsor, please reach out. I think it's not a secret that podcasts are funded through sponsorships and advertisements. There's no secret way to go about it. And I would love to partner with all of you and any of you. Please reach out. All my contact information is in the show notes. And we're very grateful to all our partnerships and all our sponsorships. Hi, how are you?
I'm really good. Thank God. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so excited you're here.
I'm so happy to be here.
It's so crazy because I was thinking 2 years ago, I did a interview with he's not an official astrologist. Like, he used to do readings, but he lives in Hawaii. He's runs a Chabad house, whatever. And it was the night before my birthday 2 years ago.
Wow.
And today, here we are, and we kept trying different dates, and it ended up settling tonight's my birthday. So I just this is crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just
so aligned.
Yeah, so aligned. So it's meant to be right now, and I'm so excited. How was your retreat in Costa Rica?
The retreat was amazing. I hope you'll come to the next one.
I really want to come. I really want to come. When's the next one?
It's in October.
After the Chagim?
Exactly. I figured it was a very good time. It's not right after, so it gives you a little time to settle back in.
Yes.
And then to bounce and get some regeneration.
Yes.
So you can be ready for the rest of the year.
Okay, I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. Okay, so you're here. I wanted, before we even get into all this fun astrology stuff, I am so curious about how you landed here. Like, how did you end up in astrology? And not only that, the way that you intertwine astrology, Kabbalah, time of month, Parsha, all the things, and it's so meaningful and brilliant, and I get so much out of it. And so what was the trajectory of you getting here?
Okay, so I started by being an artist.
Okay. Yes.
I wanted to be an artist essentially because I did not want to have a typical 9-to-5 kind of life.
Yes.
I wanted to be able to say, well, of course I'm late because I'm an artist. And
yeah.
Of course I'm messy because I'm an artist. And of course, don't expect too much from me because I'm an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this intention of living this life where I could have a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
So I started very simply. I started doing art with the Hebrew letters. Very simply because I went to Jewish school, and one of the first things you learn are Hebrew letters.
Yeah.
So it was very basic. And not only that, but my art is made with stencils. So I don't even draw.
Mm.
So I'm not talented. I'm not gifted in terms of being able to draw at all. I'm not even so artistic. But it was going to be my life that I was going to be an artist no matter what. So I created an art style, an art form where it was going to be simple. It was going to be accessible for me, but it was also going to be beautiful. And that's when this thing that brought me the most joy when it came time to choose, okay, what's going to be my art form? What's going to be my style? The most easy and natural thing for me was to go to an Aleph.
Mm.
when I look at an aleph, when I look at the Hebrew letters, maybe it brings me back to my childhood, or maybe it bring me back to a place of my origins. It just brings me back to a place of peace. There's
Yeah.
something there about the letters, about their beauty, about what they mean, about the depth that I really relate to. And you know what? I'm going to start there.
Mm.
So it was very intentional that I was going to have this different kind of life. And the Hebrew letters were just this very easy way in. And then I also went to school. I got a master's of Jewish mysticism from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem.
Oh, wow.
So I also really, you know, so my work was artistry. I was an artist, and I was, art was my job. I was
Yeah.
making art. I was getting commissions. But to get there, I had also gone to school. I had studied. I have two masters, actually. I have a master's from France, where I wrote a thesis on Mashiach Ben Yosef. And I have a master's from Hebrew University, where I wrote a master's on Jewish feminism and feminist Judaism and the role of women in Judaism.
Oh,
So
wow.
this is what I studied. I studied a
Yeah.
lot of mysticism. And when it came to time to get a job, I wasn't going to be an educator or a teacher. I became an artist. So I had all this background of Kabbalah, of education, of mysticism, and drawing the letters and adding the meaning. That's when eventually I got to astrology, because every letter, according to Kabbalah, creates a zodiac sign.
Wow. So when you decided to become an artist, did you even know anything about astrology? Did you even know your signs, and did it even make sense?
So I grew up with the knowledge of astrology, like
Like,
everyone,
yeah,
you know, maybe a little more than a regular person, but still very light. Definitely not what I'm doing now.
yeah,
Absolutely not.
yeah,
It really came in stages. It was, okay,
yeah,
I'm mastering the Hebrew letters. I wanted to create an experience for people. I didn't want to just create art that they would put on the wall. I wanted
right.
them to feel immersed. And when you see my paintings, you see it's an experience. Like, you feel the trance of entering the letters. So I also learned from drawing and from being with the letters. I learned that dimension, the spiritual dimension of what it means to feel held by something very divine.
Mm,
And then, slowly but surely, the letters, the understanding of what letter creates what month and why, and then telling friends, oh, of course you feel that way because you're ruled by this letter.
yeah, that's incredible. And it's so interesting because full circle, you kind of are an educator.
Unfortunately.
But on your terms. Like, you get to do it the way
Yeah.
you want to, and you get to do it through art, and you get to do it through like an unconventional way, but what you do is educating people who have no idea anything about this world.
Yeah. Before, your producer asked me to send a biography,
Yeah.
and I went on ChatGPT and I was like, okay, give me 3 lines about me, and this is what I do. And then ChatGPT kept on saying, you're an educator and an astrologer. And I said, no, I'm not.
No.
I'm not an astrologer. I also don't define myself as an astrologer, because to be an astrologer, you have to be so knowledgeable. So I'm a student of astrology.
Mm,
In terms of educator, no, I don't. I'm not educate. I mean, of course, I am,
yeah.
one way or another. But it's
Yeah.
more that I was always trying to create experiences for people, and that's something you can find in my writings. I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't want to give you a piece of information at all. I don't want to do that. You can find information in so many places. If I'm going to give something to you, it's an experience.
I was going to say, if you actually follow Naomi, which after this, all of you should, your posts are an experience. Like, it takes you through a journey. So that's really what it is. And so you're whatever like you set out to do, you're accomplishing. It's an experiential learning. You know, when they say about when you're educating children, there's all these different modes of education, and what we really understand is like immersive education is really the most profound. If you go through all your senses, you do sensory, you go through visual, the more experiential, the more physical the education could be, the more impactful it is. So I feel like that's kind of what you do.
Yes, it's important to me that there is something that I want to share with you. I want to try and share it in a way that feels very real and holy and sacred. And I'm taking you on a journey with me.
Mm. Yeah, it definitely feels that way. Okay. So here you are doing, and you still do your art, right? I've seen some of your art. It's incredible. And you have all these different ways that you take people through this journey. And just like we spoke about, like the retreats, that's probably like your ultimate
Yeah.
offering.
The retreats are so incredible because, first of all, you're going to be with me for a few days. And I like to feel that I'm going to unzip, I'm unzipping. Like, I'm a very boundary person, but if we're going to be in this container together physically, then you get a part of me that I would otherwise never give anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it creates through the communion of women together, and in magical, raw, primitive, natural places where you really can feel God. Really,
Mm.
there is no cement. There isn't the separation that the modern world creates. So you're just so connected to Hashem, and the women together, each their own sparks, coming together away from the world, away from obligations. That just is so magical. Yes, so I like to take people on these journeys, but it's more that there is something that's going to come through me, and it feels that it also needs to be shared.
Yeah.
So here it is, and then you
Here it
can take
is.
it or not, But yeah,
I love that. I love that. So, for this audience, there's going to be some people who know more or less about astrology, but the one thing that I want to start with is understanding the sun, moon, and the rising sign, because I think oftentimes you know your sun sign, right? So, like, I'm a Leo as my sun sign, and I have leaned into it and I understand it more. But in the beginning, I used to really reject that this is my sign, because there were so many things that I heard or knew about Leos that like were off-putting, you know? So I was like, that's not me. I'm not going to be that. But what you learn through your understanding astrology more, first of all, your whole, like, you can't take one piece and decide that that's who you are. There's a whole chart, and there's so many different moving pieces. There's the planets and the houses, and all of these things make a very specific story. And so I really feel passionate about helping people understand the whole picture. And of course, there's the three main signs. So I would love for you to share sun sign, moon sign, rising sign, what they each mean in your chart. And you could use my chart as an example to share. So we have like something tangible to hold on to.
awesome. Let me just pull up your chart. Yes. So the chart is the picture of the sky at the time of your birth.
Right.
That's what a birth chart is. People, when they talk about astrology, they think about one sign.
Right.
It's called sun sign astrology. Sun sign astrology is the sign that the sun was in at the time of your birth, which is one of many, many parts of astrology. So looking at sun sign astrology is like saying that, you're a Chabad shlucha. So it would be saying that Chabad is all about kosher meals. That's what Chabad is.
Right.
It's like, oh,
That would
Chabad,
be very offensive.
that's what Chabad is. Like, okay, that's one of the
It's
things.
true, but it's not everything.
It's not. It's exactly, offensive is a good word. Because for astrology, it is borderline offensive to say that you can look at one sign and understand anything about who you are.
Right.
It's very, very rich, and we want to look to understand oneself through astrology is to be willing to go into the depths, to read between the lines, to understand what is actually happening. So essentially, we understand that the way that Hashem created the world is by putting messengers in place. Messengers like captains and generals and people that work for God, the same way that the sun, and that's actually a very important point that we'll go back to when we talk about Leo, but the sun is Shemesh in Hebrew. And Shemesh, we know, is like the word Shamash. And the Shamash is someone who serves.
Yeah.
So the center of the solar system, the most powerful luminary that we have that turns on the light of the world and creates everything, life on earth. There would be no life on earth without the sun. That's just serving God. It's just the Shamash. And every single planet, as the same way as the sun provides light, and in our chart, the sun is our life force, our personality, our energy, our vibrancy. Well, the other planets have a different role. So, for example, Mercury is the planet of communication. So So a planet is like an angel, a malach, a shaliach, a messenger that has a job.
Yeah. I love the way of that perspective. I mean, that's what it is, but I'm just saying I love understanding astrology through this vision.
Yeah, that's what it is. Hashem, and the fact that astrology is not a part of our everyday life, I believe is a very intentional thing that happened when the world tried to disconnect people from God.
Yeah.
So I think it's very intentional, the same way that most people now live in cities and have these very limited kind of lives where from this time to that time, that's what you have to do. And that age to that age, how much money you have to make. These limitations were put upon us to disconnect us from our souls so that actually we fight back and say, no,
Yeah.
I'm not here
Right.
for that, right? Like the
Yeah.
soul reclaiming herself is why we're here. We're here
Right.
to
Yes.
ourselves again. So the setup is such that it's not easy, and we have to find that back. So the way that astrology understands the world is that Hashem put the planets in place, and it's very clear in the Torah that Saturn is the planet of strict structure and limitation and time and boundaries. It's very clear that Mars, the red planet, is the planet of blood. So everyone is familiar with the Torah that says someone who's born under Mars will either be
Yes.
a murderer or shochet.
Yes.
He can choose.
Yes.
The astrology is just a very clear way that the world was set up. And when we reclaim our astrology and we understand how it's working in our favor, where our challenge is, then we have so much clarity. And this is the clarity that Hashem gave us.
Right. I feel like this is why I feel so connected to it and also so passionate about it and sharing about it and talking about it to my limited knowledge is that I feel like it's a gift that Hashem gives us. It's like you're going to go into this big and scary world where oftentimes it's going to be difficult to navigate. There's so many things coming at you. And here is a little bit of like a map, right? Of, okay, these are your strengths. These are your qualities. These are your superpowers. These are your shadows. These are your weaknesses. This is what's going to get you tripped up. This is where you're going to stumble. And to me, and I know maybe not everybody feels this way, but to me, it's like, it's such a validating and also like a burden lifted off of your shoulder in the sense of like, okay, like I have some tools to figure this out.
Yeah. And to go even further, this was always the way the world was supposed to work. We people say, and that's probably something that you are confronted with all the time because you have adopted children.
Yeah.
People say kids don't come with a manual.
Yeah.
Well, your kids for sure didn't, but
but they still do, right? They still have their chart.
To an extent they do. We really do come with a manual. We do. And we were never supposed to just be thrown here figuring it out on our own. It's not the way Hashem created the world. Hashem also did not create the world for us to be disconnected from nature.
Yeah.
Hashem gave us magnificent, lush, bountiful nature for us to reconnect and be connected to source, to nature, to the source of our life. This is the way Hashem created. Hashem did not put us in this cement town for us to just be disconnected and everything's gray.
Yeah.
So us reclaiming astrology, which what astrology is one of the many languages of nature, because astrology only is the study of the planets. Astrology is understanding that when Saturn is making that connection to Mars, this is how it is down below.
It's the energy that it brings.
Exactly. Like every planet is a messenger of a certain energy. So Mercury communication and Mars is war. So when they connect, for example, then we have a certain energy that is impacting us down below. And the study of the planets is what astrology is. We know through centuries that when eclipses happen, this is what happens with agriculture, with countries, with kings, and that's what astrology is. So Hashem set up the world in this very clear way. And it's not necessarily easy. Some people's charts are very difficult. Sometimes, you see a chart and you really can see what this person does not have
it easy
at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know that. You don't compare yourself to everybody who has an easy life wondering what's wrong with you. No, you don't, because you see that And then to take it a step further, we are taught that the neshama chooses what she's coming down to do because she knows what she needs. So the neshama is asked, like, first of all, she's given the opportunity to come down. Mm-hmm. The soul is given the opportunity to come back down. And then you're given that one chance. You want to succeed. So you say, this is what I need to succeed. I'm going to need to have this kind of a parent, that kind of upbringing to fulfill my goal. So then you understand that this is the path you chose.
I think that's such a beautiful thing to talk about, because I think a lot of people struggle with astrology within Torah because, like, what do we mean? Our mazal doesn't rule us. We have free choice. So not only do you have free choice in this world, like astrology isn't determining how you're going to live your life. You can choose to ignore it. You can choose to make choices, whatever. But not only do you have choices down here, but you even had choice before you even came down.
You have an opportunity. You feel blessed and lucky to be given the chance to come down again, to rectify something, so you can rise even higher, so you can go back to your place of origin. And then you say, wow, I'm given this chance. I really, I want to make it. I want to make it. So give me what I need. And sometimes the thing you need is very hard.
Yeah. And also it can be very, I don't know if comforting is the right word, but if you lean into this idea and you buy into it and you really think about it, when something very difficult comes your way, you're like, okay, like I chose this in a way, and I actually also have what it takes to navigate it.
Absolutely.
Like I was born with the ability to handle my life.
100%. This is a very core belief in Judaism.
Yeah.
Very core belief that the neshama comes down, she knows what she's doing here, she chooses exactly the circumstances of this incarnation, she knows where she's born and she knows where she dies. This is very clear. And then in the middle, where you're forgetting everything on purpose, so you can actually play the game.
So you can actually play the game. If you knew it all and you didn't, and you remembered, then what's the point?
You wouldn't be doing the work, which is the work of ascending. Right? You are only ascending when you are rising higher and higher. So you are pushing obstacles away. So you are purposely staying on the path. So you are disconnecting from what's not serving you. That's how you rise. And the whole point is the rise. This whole life is a descent for the sake of an ascent. And you cannot ascend if you already are there.
Right.
So it's the ascending that is the whole point. And astrology is this very clear way of understanding what you're doing and how to get good at it or bad at it. If you are on the wrong path, stop, get out of that path and get on the path that you swore you would stay on before coming.
Okay, like, come on, you gotta keep your word here.
Yeah. And like you said, it's comforting, but it's also, when people understand these concepts, they remember them. Like, no one is going to listen to this and be like, that can't be true. People are going to listen to this and they're going to be like, yeah. This is really something that we deeply profound.
We know.
Which is also why people would never exchange their lives for someone else's.
I talk about that with my husband all the time. Sometimes we're like sitting on the couch and we're working through a challenge and it's really hard. And sometimes you go into like victim mode, or you're, like, wow, nobody has a life like we do. And then I always say, I'm like, put all your challenges in the middle, take your families, all the people put the challenges in the middle. You're always going to choose yours back because you do not have the tools for somebody else's challenge. So it feels like, no way, I can't do that.
And also because your challenge is yours.
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
It's tikkun, it's yours to work through. That the children are your children. It's your story. That's what you came to do. And you can't be like, bouncing back, just give me another set of challenges, I'm done. No, your soul is attached to this story. So astrology, and now we're in Cancer season, and Cancer season is the season of memory, of remembrance, of the mother line. So there is the energy of memory. And sometimes it's not about learning something. It's like when I was telling you before, I'm not trying to teach you something or tell you something. Right. I would like for you to realize that you can remember something that you've always known, that has always been inside of you, that has always been your truth. And you're not being asked to adopt a new belief system at all. On the contrary, you're asked to lift up the veil and just connect back to yourself.
Yeah. And how could you reject that? Once you know and you like tap in, it's like, oh, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So back to the chart for a second. Like, and I'm still like, there's so much about the chart that I understand. The houses, Hashem. Like I'm so confused about the houses, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay. Sun, moon, rising. What do those mean in your chart?
Beautiful. Sun, moon, and rising are, after the sun sign, that's what people are going to be looking at, right?
Yeah,
So you
right.
meet someone who doesn't know anything about astrology, they probably know their zodiac sign. If someone knows a little bit, they'll know that where their moon is and what their rising is. So the sun, moon, and rising is really where you start because they are the most important energies. Then you see that when you look deep into your chart, like your chart, for example, there are some very strong signatures that almost scream at us. They're so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, the sun, moon, and rising wouldn't be the most important in your case.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So sun, moon, it's like saying, I'm a Gemini, but you really have 5 planets in Cancer. So people are going to say, I'm a Gemini. And then you look in and you're like, you really are not a Gemini. You're a Cancer. For you, you're a Capricorn rising, Gemini moon, Cancer, Leo sun.
Mm-hmm.
But you have other very strong signatures in your chart. That would be maybe more the focus of your chart. But in general, the sun is the sun sign what the sign the sun was in at the time of your birth, because the sun is the loudest, brightest energy. It is your personality and your vitality. So after all is said and done, you always have to be living according to your sun sign's energy. So for you, you're born in Tammuz, Chaf Tammuz.
Mm-hmm.
Your mazal is mazal sartan, the Cancer.
Right.
But your sun was in the sign of Leo at the time of your birth. So the sun had already moved to a different sign.
Because I'm the end of July.
So your personality is the Leo. Your mazal, your energy is Cancer. It's a spiritual energy when you talk about the mazal. But you have the characteristic of a Leo. That's your sun. That's your light. That's your vibrancy. No matter what happens in life, you have to shine like a Leo. That we're never taking that away from you. You have your moon in Gemini. The moon in the chart, by the time of your birth, was in the sign of Gemini. So the moon takes the moon 28 days to go through the entire zodiac cycle. The moon spends 2 days in one sign. The moon moves very fast.
Yeah.
So every 2 days, the moon is in a different sign. It takes the sun 1 month to go through a sign.
Right.
So the sun is in Leo for a month, and during that month, the moon was in the sign of Gemini.
Right.
So your moon represents your emotional needs. The sun represents your energy, your liveliness,
Personality,
your vibrancy, your vitality, how you're meant to shine. Your moon represents how you feel. And then the rising sign, the rising is not a luminary like the sun, the moon, and our planet, like Saturn, Mercury, Mars. The rising is the point. It's the point in the sky where the sun was rising on the eastern horizon at the time of your birth. And the rising is going to determine your entire chart. So it's not a planet, it's a point. The rising sign changes completely every 2 hours, but it moves all the time. So the rising sign is going to change your life completely from someone who's born a few hours after you, because their chart is completely different.
Wow. So that's why it's so important to know what time you were born.
Exactly, because especially for someone like you, because astrology very much is numbers, this exact circle.
Mm-hmm.
And every sign has 30 degrees, 29.9 degrees. And based on the degrees, you understand the connections that the signs are making with each other. And you happen to have a lot of degrees that are final. We have finality with you. So if we change a few hours, it's a completely,
it wouldn't work.
It's a different story completely. So the rising sign initiates your chart, meaning it sets the tone. Now, what's very interesting and deep about the rising sign is your neshama understands what she's here to do. So she's choosing, I want to be born under the mazal of Sartan, and the Cancer is the sign that is ruled by the moon. It's the sign of the mother. So there's this very strong motherly energy with Cancer. I want to be born under the mazal of Sartan. My sun needs to be in Leo because I need to shine. I'm going to shine through it all. My moon is going to be a Gemini. I'm going to be a communicator. I'm going to need to communicate, emotion, need to.
Literally. Okay.
A lot of talking. Gemini moons really need to talk and talk things out and hear themselves talk.
Yep. Hence a podcast. Perfect.
And the Leo energy is you shining through it all. Like, so you don't have a podcast where you're just recording your voice. You know, it's you, it's your face, people know you, it's your personality, Leo is energy of fame. So we have that. The rising sign is the sign that you choose to be born through. So it's not your sun sign, it's not your moon sign. It's the portal.
Fascinating.
You enter through the rising. Your chart starts with the rising. And with you, we have Capricorn rising. So Capricorn, then everyone is welcome to do their own research on every sign, but that's very accessible.
Right.
The Capricorn rising is the energy of I am here to work hard. So at birth, as a child, typically you're born into a family where a lot is asked of you. You are parentified young.
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest. If you weren't the oldest of 9, you would be the first daughter, the only capable child. Capricorn rising is the one that has to step it up. There's a lot that is asked of you. So because this is where it gets very interesting and psychologically very interesting. So now we're entering the realm of psychology. Because you're born with this energy where you know that you're going to have to work really hard. You know that your family home is going to ask a lot from you. So you choose this path. Your neshama chooses that entry point. What ends up happening is because we only land in our bodies and our lives in our late 20s.
Yeah.
So according to astrology, it's a Saturn return. Saturn is the planet of structure and boundaries. When Saturn comes back to your place of birth, that's when
you start.
You get solidified as a person.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say at 27, 28 years old, you're like, wait, what? What have I been doing this whole time? You're already in your life. You've already made the choices. You've already married your person. You've already set up, you went to school. You did the things you were going to do. And then it's almost like a mini lifetime of getting back to yourself and saying, I am a hard worker, but maybe I don't want to work for that.
Yeah.
So the rising sign, basically it's like this. It's one of your kid comes into your home and they're like, okay, that's the vibe. I'm going to go do this. And then that becomes who they are. It becomes how they are known. It becomes how they represent themselves. It becomes the energy that we project back to them. So they embody that more and more and more and more. And then they have a life like that. So you manifested hard work.
How do we step out of that? Like, what if you're like, I'm done working hard? Is that a thing? Can you do that?
Yes. Yeah. You want to step out of the shadow of a sign and enter the light of the sign.
Yes.
As soon as you become conscious, as soon as you realize this isn't really serving me, it's not working for me. I have those tendencies, but I don't like it. It doesn't feel aligned with my neshama or with my greater tikkun. Then you want to enter the embodied light energy of the sign. So Capricorn, the shadow of Capricorn is work for the sake of working. If it's hard, it has my name on it. If it's hard, I'm going to go for the hard case over there. Give me what's the hardest thing, because that's how I understand myself. That's how I feel I'm worthy of only working hard and earning my keep through hard work. But when you realize that's not true, that was never true. I never had to work so hard. I have to work well. I don't have to work hard. So the light side of Capricorn is actually mastering what is true for you. There is a sense of mastery. Capricorn is, according to Jewish astrology, is the month of Tevet. It's mazal Gdi. Gdi is the mountain goat. As his eyes on the prize, the top of the mountain doesn't stop. But it's also energy of winter, energy of darkness. So definitely very important to bring the light within Capricorn, because it's very easy to get lost as a Capricorn, because the world is really going to mirror back that energy.
Yeah.
The work of exile, and winter is exile. So you are here to master something and to understand that you are born successful. A Capricorn rising is born for success. A Capricorn rising is born to reach the summit of the mountain. You just are, and accept that. Now, that's another energy that we see with Leo, which is very, very important, which is something that I'm faced in my work every day, because Leo is the epitome of understanding that we are only here to serve God. Leo is the shamash.
Yeah.
The people are disgusted by the idea of ego.
Mm-hmm. That's what had me being like, I'm not a Leo. Like, I don't identify with a Leo, but it's not true. Like, I really do. And I also had to understand what it actually meant.
Yeah, exactly. And so you see, because everyone has a sun sign, and Leo is the sign that's ruled by the sun.
Right.
Leo is the epitome of that energy, because Leo is here to command attention, to be the person that people are like, oh, there she is, that's her. That's what Leo is here for. But yet somehow false ego gets in the way, and people say, oh, no, God forbid, that's not me. And it's like, it was never you.
Right. It was never about you. It's about Hashem.
It was never about you, relax. But the world, and this is all engineered. It's engineered so we ascend. That's why you have to pay attention, because it's engineered so that, God forbid, you have an ego, and God forbid you set yourself apart. You have to set yourself apart. So why do I see that every day, even for a Libra or even for a Virgo? It's because, God forbid, God chose them to do something. It's like the world, the modern world, the world of exile, so badly wants everybody to just be a slave, be the same, be non-important.
Don't take up space.
Don't take up space, don't lead, you're not special. When astrology, which is the language of nature, which Hashem hands to us at birth, tells you how important and different and unique you are from the beginning. Because if we understand that we are all composing the body of the primordial man, right? We are all the organs of the same body, and we all have to shine so that the body can be functioning.
Totally.
Then we all have different parts to play.
I just read something really fascinating about a Leo. It's like the Leo understands that they shine because they understand that everybody shines. Like, they understand that everybody deserves to shine and to play their part and to be themselves and to shine. So people look at Leos and they're like, oh, they take up all the space, their ego, all of that. But it's when you actually strip it away, or you are a healthy ego, a healthy Leo, not in your shadow side, it's about knowing that everybody deserves to shine. So you lead, right? You're leading that by example.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The Leo wants to shine the spotlight on everybody, because Leo understands, like, you understand, like, I have so much to share. And so do you.
And so do you. Correct.
So do you, right?
Correct.
Leo is very radiant, and Leo is really not a selfish sign. It's really a sign that wants everybody around them to shine, and a Leo has to understand that they are the chosen ones. They are the ones that carry the light of Hashem, the brightest. And it's the energy of the Kohen Gadol. It's the energy of the month of Av, where we have the greatest sadness and the greatest joy. It's the energy. It's a greatness energy, and a Leo understands that we all have that sun inside of us. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's very interesting, because I think, and I heard this from you, that every sign has their strengths and then the shadow side, right?
Yeah.
Is your shadow side where your tikkun is? Is your shadow side where your work is?
So yes, the chart is going to show you the general tikkun of the soul, the north node, the general trajectory, what you are doing here, the long-term tikkun. And then in general, I like to refer to it as avoda, like your work.
Your work.
Instead of your tikkun, because people get confused with tikkun. They think, that's why I'm here. And it's like, you have to do that. It's like, you have to shine, you have to work on yourself, you have to be aware, you have to be conscious. That's the foundation of being here, Oh,
I love that distinction. So the shadow side is your work, like where you need to like keep paying attention. And when you see it coming up, you're like, oh, I got to work on that.
Yes, I like to call it that because people often will say, okay, show me, what's my tikkun? And first of all, who cares? We don't care. Every day, try your very best. Like today, that's your tikkun.
Yeah.
People want to have that one answer, and you can see, okay, that's your north node in this sign, in that house, therefore that's the general trajectory of your soul, that's your tikkun. But the truth is, we know to believe that every single day should be lived like the last, and you need to be fully embodied today in the here and now, because that's where Hashem is in the present moment.
Yeah.
So either you can say we have a lot of tikkunim. I like to say this is your avoda, your work. Now, for certain signs, in certain cases, the majority of an energy is going to be dark, and it's going to feel like that is the tikkun, so it's more than avoda. But typically speaking, in general, yes, every sign has light and shadow, and your avoda, when you say, working on your midot, on your character traits, you are making sure to stay in the light energy of every sign. So, for example, Capricorn's shadow is working for the sake of working to make money, working to climb the corporate ladder, working for to earn your deservingness in the world. And the light side of Capricorn is actually mastering yourself, working hard so you can be in control of your midot, of your life, of the people around you, and make other people feel very safe. Right? There is the energy of bringing the light into the darkness in Capricorn season. So that's the light of Capricorn. Like, is your work purposeful? Are you aligned with your work? And working hard for a purpose that is very aligned. For Gemini, so you have the moon in Gemini. So the shadow side of a Gemini moon would be, talking for the sake of talking and just being very airy and not being concerned about your time, other people's time, emotional dumping, gossiping, because it feels good in the moment, because there is a need to express. But that's the shadow side of Gemini. When Gemini distracts itself, another idea, and another idea, another thing to say, no, like, come back down, center. And to understand the light side, you want to look at the opposite sign, because the opposite sign, in the extreme opposite, 6 months later or 6 months earlier, is the sign that represents the opposing energy.
So would that be the sign right across?
Exactly.
On the chart? Okay. So what's opposite Gemini?
Sagittarius. And I think isn't your husband born on that axis?
Yes, my husband is a Sagittarius.
And he has is he born on the full moon?
Yeah, his birthday is Tesvav Kislev.
So he is on that axis. Your husband belongs on the axis of Sagittarius and Gemini. And what's interesting is to understand the other side of the sign, to balance it out. You look at the opposite. And during a full moon, so he is born during a full moon. So Sagittarius, it's Kislev. And the energy is the opposite energy of Gemini. So if Gemini is very scattered, Sagittarius is very much the expert. I know this thing really well. Mm-hmm. That's obviously looking at the light of Sagittarius, not the shadows.
Yeah, correct.
Your husband lives on the axis of knowledge and intelligence. We have Sagittarius. I learn, I expand, I'm an expert at something. I go in depth, but also Gemini, I'm curious, I'm open, I like to discuss, I like ideas, I'm witty. So he is on that axis, because when the full moon comes, it is bringing us the extreme opposing energies to balance us out.
So that's really cool to be born on a full moon, because you have that.
It's very cool, and it's very hard.
Yeah. Because it's two opposing energies.
Because your sun and your moon want to go in different places.
Wow.
So it's not easy. It's like you're holding a lot. You have a lot of gifts, but you have to learn to manage them. Yeah. So his personality is going to be to expand, Sagittarius, believe, filled with faith. Let's go further. Let's go forward. The shadow of Sagittarius is, I know the way. I know the truth. I could be a little bit full of myself because I know. Mm-hmm. I know the way. And Gemini is like, what? 1 second. What about this over there?
Yeah.
So where are you? Are you here or are you there? Right? You can say you're a Leo. You shine and you want to talk. Okay, that's not so crazy.
Right. Right.
Those energies mesh really well. And you're a Capricorn rising, so you're going to work really hard at it.
But do the Capricorn and Leo fight with each other a little bit or no?
Capricorn and Leo do not fight.
Okay.
No.
Sometimes I feel like I'm a Leo, like I'm meant to shine. This is where, and then the Capricorn sometimes, or maybe it's the shadow side of Leo. I don't know. It's just like everything's hard. I have to work really hard. Things feel hard.
Okay. Let me tell you for a second. So Capricorn likes to work hard. That's not Capricorn. Capricorn doesn't talk like that.
Mm-hmm.
Capricorn loves to work hard. Capricorn is fine working hard. Capricorn needs to show up.
Okay.
But we have Chiron in Gemini. So Chiron in Gemini conjunct your North Node. So first of all, let's just quickly look at this. You have a Capricorn rising. You have Chiron conjunct Gemini in the 5th house. You have your moon at 29 degrees Gemini. You have Sun and Venus in Leo.
And Mercury in Leo.
And Mercury in Leo, 29 degrees. Pluto in Libra, Saturn in Scorpio, Mars in Scorpio, Uranus in Sagittarius. So the shadow of Leo is the shadow of Leo doesn't want to work hard because Leo is the queen. She doesn't want.
Yeah, I'm the queen, guys. Get on board.
Yeah, Leo is very much like you need to tend to me. So this is where you go against yourself in a way because Capricorn is like give me
Fine
more work
with the work. Yeah, and there are times where it is that like my whole life I've worked hard and it's fine. But there are times I've noticed like as I get a little older, I'm like I just don't want to work that hard anymore. Just I'm the queen, please.
Leo is the energy of I'm not supposed to work hard, but you can also be experiencing burnout from a life of being a Capricorn rising.
Right.
That's also real. Like the burnout of always being on time, always being the responsible one, always being the one who carries the load that's heavier than everybody else. Then that's when you have psychology inside of astrology. Like you've been a Capricorn rising your whole life. You have Saturn in Scorpio in the 9th house. It's been transformational. It's been difficult. It's been painful. Saturn is the planet that rules Capricorn. So to understand what kind of Capricorn rising you are, because we're not all the same Capricorn risings, I like to look at the planet that rules your sign. So side note for a second, let's back up for a second.
Yeah.
Every sign is ruled by a planet and every planet rules a sign. So Leo is ruled by the sun. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Aries is ruled by Mars. The planet is like the fatherly energy and the sign is like the child. So for me to understand your kind of Capricorn rising, I need to see Saturn, which is the planet that rules Capricorn, in your chart. Where is it?
Is it the 9th?
You're not like every Capricorn rising. So your Saturn is in Scorpio, in the 9th house.
Yeah.
So basically, this is what it shows. Saturn in Scorpio. Scorpio is a sign of Cheshvan. It's a sign of darkness and solitude and pain. Scorpio really is the sign that has the most tikkun amidot to do, the most work on themselves, because it's a sign that has a propensity to feel sorry for itself, to want to isolate, to hurt, to feel like a victim. So that energy rules your chart.
Oh, good, excellent.
It's also a very powerful and strong energy, which is connected to your line of work. Meaning, this ends up doing what you do for work in your public identity, what you teach, because it's in the 9th house of teaching. So Saturn, so you basically are living this life of hard work, of educating, helping people transform, helping people face their losses and their pain. And that your education is who you become at work, the fighter. You're a fighter at work, and you're going to help people transform and face pain and rise. So as a human being, yourself, you're taking a lot. You're taking a hit.
Yeah.
You have this mission, and your life is about impacting others. So it's exhausting for you. That's pretty basic stuff. Like that is, you take the hit. It's very hard for you. It's taking everything away from you. So you definitely have someone who needs to come to the retreat in Costa Rica.
Okay, it's solidified. I need to be there.
I think that's clear. Like you need a lot of TLC, you need alone time, you need to pause, and you need to be in Cancer energy where you mother yourself.
And it's interesting because as I've gotten older, like I've been able to tap into that and I've been able to know that. So like I know that I need time for myself. I know that I need to like refill my cup and recharge. And for other people, like people can look at the things that I do and like, wow, like you do a lot of self-care and you take so much time. And I'm like, but I know what I need to fill myself up because my life, like you said, does take a lot need me and takes a lot from me. So I know that I also need to fill that up.
Absolutely. You see in the chart, like the planet that rules your chart, Saturn, is all the way on top. Meaning what you're doing here has taken a while. It's been a journey. It is a lot of offering to the world. So you spent this life working so hard for something that's not even for you. It's for the world. It's for people. It's for the community. It's what you're here to master. So of course, there comes a time where you need to balance out the energies, right? So this is not simple.
Mm-hmm.
And when you know that, you can also say, "Oh, then
Yeah.
of course I'm booking the massage. Like, of course I'm not taking that call
Yeah.
because I'm here to do that thing that's outside of me." And you don't look at your friend who's got it figured out and who doesn't have that kind of life, because you see that your life is asking a tremendous amount from you. And another point in your chart, you have your sun in Leo, and the dichotomy here is that Leo should be a very self-centered sign. It's a sign that should say, this is the gift that Hashem gave me. This is my offering, and I'm going to be a servant of Hashem through shining my gift. But your sun is in the 7th house of marriage, which means that as much as you should be self-centered, you are very split with making sure your husband is okay. And that is hard for a Leo, because a Leo should be in their own ego. But you actually really shine through marriage and through partnership and through relationships and through love. So it's asking again of you to split. So when you can have that awareness, you understand where you're going to need a boost of confidence, where you're going to need an extra, a bit of TLC, because this is not simple.
Yeah. So when you look at my chart, is it an intense chart? Like, what's the vibe?
Yeah, you have an extremely intense chart. You really do. Some charts, everybody is here to perform a tikkun.
Yeah.
And the tikkun is hard for the person who's here because that's why they came. So They came all the way.
Yeah.
And it's a hard tikkun, and it's a journey of transformation for everyone. We all are asked to transform.
Yeah.
Sometimes the transformation is going to be hard for someone, but for you looking at it, you could be like, wow, that's a piece of cake.
Right.
For sure. But for them, it's hard.
Right. With their set of circumstances, it's hard.
Exactly. Because if the neshama has this much more work to do, she still is coming all the way down to do that work.
Yeah.
So for her, it's a lot. It's a big deal. But you have an extremely intense chart on a lot of levels. You have a very specific configuration in your chart. It's called a cradle, which is interesting because you're born in the month of Tammuz, which is the month of the mother, and you have adopted all these kids, thank God. And you have this very strong signature of ending and finality in your chart. There is something that you are doing that is ending a pattern somehow, somewhere for the world. You're doing something that is ending with you. So that's profound. And these energies are both personal and collective. So this is affecting your moon at 29 degrees of Gemini. You have your Mercury at 29 degrees, Pluto at 29 degrees, and Neptune at 29 degrees. To have all these planets at this exact same number, and they're all connecting to each other and they're forming a cradle, is really rare. It's really rare. So you have a rare chart, you have an intense chart. And you have more. There's also more. Your Chiron is conjunct your North Node, which shows that your pain point is your destiny. Healing that pain is why you're here.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy! I have like the chills.
That's very intense.
Yeah.
I don't see that every day. That's for sure.
Okay, so when you see a chart like that, what is like the message that you would give, I would say to someone, but it's to me because I'm the one with the chart. Like, what's the message? How do you navigate kind of like an energy like that?
So first of all, I wouldn't say that to you in a first reading. What I see, if I see that, and I don't even know if I told you the first time we spoke, probably not. Yeah. I don't even think I told you the first time we spoke, this is what's here, because it's a really big deal.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to scare you or shock you. So, we're just talking about your sun, moon, and rising, which are the primary energies in your chart. But for you, it's not shocking because you're doing some pretty crazy work. Like you are.
Yeah.
You really stand apart. Like, I don't know if there's someone else that's like you out there. So, I mean,
everyone's unique, but
so you're also not that shocked. It's like,
no, I'm not. It's nothing about this shocks me whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not like I'm meeting someone who has, cookie cutter life, white picket fence life, and I'm like, you're not going to believe what I see.
Right.
you're like, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
it's not that surprised because I've been through it and I'm still going through it and I'm doing stuff that maybe no one has done or I'm doing it in a different way. So there is a lot there, but the message really is that you're here doing something very special. That is my general message would be like, wow, hold yourself close and be very gentle with yourself because people know to look out of themselves. We are taught to have one grade. We all have to have an A plus. We all have to do this. We all have to do that. So this is the way that we are formatted to all be the same way. So if you evolve in this world, you know that you have to be like everybody else. But this is not the chart of someone that's a regular person. This is a chart of someone who's very unique and who's here to do something big in the collective front. And there's something with her that is ending. Maybe she's ending a generational curse. Maybe she's ending a way that the matriarchal line was behaving. Maybe she's ending, for you, it's multifold because it's personal. So there's something that you are going to stop doing to yourself and things that you're going to help the community stop doing. Because in this formation that we have of the cradle, we have two personal planets, which is your moon and your Mercury. That's the way that you feel and the way that you communicate. And Neptune and Pluto, which are not personal planets, they're planets that are collective. So if it takes the moon 2 days to move through a sign, it takes Neptune 14 years to move through a sign.
Yeah.
Meaning for 14 years, everybody now is going to have all the babies born since February for the next 14 years are going to have Neptune in Aries. So Pluto, which is also a generational planet, is at 29 degrees. So you see it's multiple.
It's both.
You are stopping. There's a way that you talk to yourself that stops with you. You're ending things that the way that you treat yourself. That's personal. And then there's things that you do that change the framework of the community forever. Forever. There's something that you are impacting people in relationships, the way that they are in their relationships. You're teaching people about relationships, about love, about equilibrium, about balance, about harmony, and about spirituality. Spiritual element and component to what you do that is supported, very supported. So you are also very helped by God. This is a very spiritually powerful chart. Hashem is with you. This is something that we see when we, for example, we see Jupiter in the 12th house. Jupiter is the planet of Chesed because according to Kabbalah, every planet is a sephira.
That's what I love. Like it's so intertwined and interconnected. Like there's so many layers.
Yeah, and again, it's all goes back to the alphabet.
Right.
And that's also why we show kids the alphabet when they're newborns. Because when we show the alphabet, we are showing the source of the universe. Everything is there.
And the world was created through speech.
Exactly. So Jupiter, the planet of Chesed, in the 12th house, which is the house of Pisces, of spiritual wisdom, and your house of spirit. So meaning there is this sense of being protected by God, being held by God, having a special relationship with God. And even when things are hard, you know you're fine, you know you're held. Hashem somehow has your back and you feel close. Your chart is not so hard. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's not hard. It's not a chart of conflict, of fighting, of friction, of pain. It's a chart of a lot of work. So there isn't that much tension. There's a little bit of tension, like enough to keep you going.
Right.
But it's not hard. It's just a lot.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Like, well, thank you. I feel like I just got like this huge birthday gift. Understanding more and more about myself is
well, for your birthday gift. For your birthday gift, you actually have the planet Jupiter, because there's another element for the listeners in astrology is we've been talking about the birth chart. The birth chart is a picture. It always stays the same. We take it at the time of your birth. It's your blueprint, and we have it forever. Something else that we look at are the transiting planets, meaning every day, which is another very important element to remember in our life, is that Hashem is always recreating the world anew at every second. And nature is alive. We are alive. The planets are moving. And we are existing within this very vibrant, alive world.
Right. And nothing is stuck. Like things are constantly moving.
Nothing is ever exactly. So the planet Jupiter, which is again the planet of Chesed, every planet is rules over a sign. So Jupiter rules over Sagittarius. Jupiter, the planet of Chesed, has entered the sign of Leo.
So I wanted to talk to you about this, like the actual present, like what's the energy of the present time? Something kind of big is happening right now, right?
There's a lot of big things happening right now.
Yeah.
Now, Jupiter takes 1 year in a sign, and therefore 12 years to go through the entire cycle.
Right.
So having Jupiter on your sun is something that happens once every 12 years. And now it's happening. So you have Chesed on your light. So your light is expanded. Your capacity to shine, to love, to create. Leo is the sign of creativity. Leo is a sign of creativity because when you are in embodied ego, you feel safe enough to create. Mm-hmm. That's why it's very important to be in healthy ego, because we, like Hashem, have to always be creating.
I always say, like, you have to embrace and like accept your talents from Hashem so you can do what you're here in this world to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, or else you can't. If you're like busy shying away or saying, no, not me, or having that like sense of humility, I'm not so good at that, then you're not stepping into your power that Hashem gave you.
And remember that the sun is just the shamash, meaning you're here to serve and you refuse.
Right.
You're getting in the way of your service.
Correct. Because
of false ego. So it's very dangerous, because false ego is really that you're thinking too high of yourself. You know what I mean? Like you think you're so special that you really need to be humble when you're actually here to talk and shine and be creative and be loud and take up space. So when you have Jupiter on your sun right now, you are blessed. It's a really good time to take action, to be brave, to be confident, to be creative, to be in your own space where you can see what Hashem is trying to send to you. We happen to be in a time where Jupiter is in Leo for everyone. So for people to know, you happen to have it on your sun, because your sun is at 3 degrees of Leo. Jupiter is now at 1 degree of Leo, 2 degrees. So it's conjunct. It's on top of it. So it's a big year for you to set intentions of grandiosity.
Really?
It's a big year for you to shine, to have, to create. Leo also rules children, the kids that we have, because children come from love, and Leo is a sign of love. Tu B'Av, the holiday of love, is during the month of Av, during Leo season. So it's a beautiful time. So it's definitely a time for you to be in love, to be excited, to create, to dream, to take up space. Now, this July 2026 is a big year. It's a big time for us. There is a reconfiguration that's happening in the sky. Now, the planets are those messengers. So when they all meet at the same time in the same room, it's a big deal, because something that we understand, people need to know that in the Gemara that says, Ein mazal Israel, which people are very familiar with, because when Hashem tells Abraham in the very beginning of Bereshit, so this is foundational Jewish belief, that Abraham says, I can't have kids, I can see in the sky. Because it's how we used to do. We used to just look at the sky.
Look at the sky, yeah.
People are comfortable being on Instagram all day, but they're not comfortable looking at the planets.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, right? Like, why are you reading the newspaper, like an article that some person wrote, but you can't look at the planets that Hashem put in the sky? And this is engineered. So the fact that we have been divorced from the knowledge that Hashem has put in the world, that happened for a reason.
On purpose, yeah. Because we have to come back to it. Exactly.
We have to claim it back. So basically, when the planets are all coming together and they're saying something, Abraham was the first was an astrologer, because that's what people used to do. They used to look up. And Abraham says to Hashem, I can't have kids. And Hashem says, and this is what it says in the text, it took him outside. Hashem took Abraham outside and said, look abetna Hashemayma, look into the stars, look into the heavens. So the Hotzina Chutza, Hashem took him outside. Rashi says, Ein mazal Israel. He took him outside of his horoscope. Hashem said, get out of your horoscope, get out of your mentality that you have a destiny, get out.
Yeah.
But now Hashem did take him outside. He took him outside and he said, look up. Rashi says, Ein mazal Israel. Rashi quotes a Gemara in the Gemara, if you go and look at it, it says 2 lines below, it says Yesh mazal Israel. But for the purpose of making his point, Rashi says, in that moment, Hashem wanted him to get out of his destiny. But the whole concept of Ein mazal Israel is refuted 1 line below that same Gemara. Of course, Yesh mazal Israel, because it's just the way that the world is set up. That's why, and I think that it's a Chabad custom not to have red wine at a certain time during the year.
Between,
right, between
6 and 7.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
There's the influence of Saturn or Mars, depending on where you are. But the planets are so important that entire community doesn't make Kiddush on Shabbat during 1 hour on red wine because of Saturn or Mars.
And people don't know that. People are like, they don't know why they're not doing it, but
yeah. And it's the same as saying once a month, grown men are going to step outside under the moon and bless the moon together. And they're going to also do a song and a dance. They're going to go on their tippy toes and they're going to say Alechem Shalom Shalom Alechem. And it's a whole beautiful dance choreography that communities have always performed. And it's sanctifying the moon because we sanctify time. Actually, the Lubavitcher Rebbe says the first mitzvah that we have is to sanctify time because it's the first thing that was created, time. That's why it's our first mitzvah. So this is astrology. People can't forget that. So the whole concept of Ein mazal Israel, we don't have mazal, is refuted. Yesh mazal, the thing that we don't have is a destiny that's set in stone.
Right.
That we don't have. And the astrology is going to show you 2 things. Fate, yesh mazal, and free will, Ein mazal. The chart shows you 2 things. You are born with 4 planets at 29 degrees. That's fate.
What you do with it is free will.
Your free will is your capacity to rise above your stars. The stars are not on top of you. You are on top of the stars. This is fate, and that is free will. So people have to understand both, and people are very uncomfortable with either one or the other. Either people say, well, Hashem created the world and everything happens, and I'm just trying
for a reason, and all that stuff.
Exactly. Or, God forbid you tell me that there is a plan. Even though we know from the first day that we have 6,000 years and that the clock is ticking. So clearly there is fate. Clearly we are all guided in one direction. So this July we're going to witness a pretty extraordinary configuration, which is something that's in your chart. The cradle. We're going to have a cradle in the sky, not with the exact same planets, but we're going to witness a cradle. And the cradle essentially is an opposition that is then supported by trines and sextiles. Those are the names of aspects that the planets make with each other. And when the planets meet, it's all the generals of an army are meeting together and they're making a plan for the future. So we are essentially witnessing a whole a big shakeup, which is going to unfold in 2026 in the rest of the year and then forever. Because when we have never witnessed what we're going to witness in our lifetime, ever. No one has ever witnessed it. And therefore, the world is going to change. The same way that when Jupiter, the planet of expansion, was in Gemini, the sign of communication, we witnessed the advent of AI. And Uranus is now in Gemini, and that's AI. So we witness the changes. But first, they come through those bigger messengers that sort of lead the way. So for us, right now, it means, first of all, see where is Leo in your chart. You have Leo 7th house.
Okay, so everybody has to go. First of all, you where do they go to find their chart? You can Google it, but you can go to.
You do not chat GPT your sun, moon, and rising.
Yes, do not do that.
Don't do that because it doesn't know yet. Probably it will know in a few years or maybe in a few months. But people tell me, oh, I did it on chat GPT and it's not the same. And so go on astro.com.
Astro.com, get your chart. And it's important to know where your Leo is in your chart, right?
That's where the blessings are this year.
Because that's where you're going to be able to manifest and tap into the energy of the year. So is it too much, or could you maybe take 5 or 10 minutes talking about, okay, if Leo is it in the houses that we're looking?
So yes, we're looking at the houses. So every person is going to have Leo somewhere
in their chart.
Right? Because the chart is a picture of the sky, and the sky has all the signs always in there. They never move. Now, yes, based on where it is in your chart, you will have it's going to have a different impact on you. So the 12 houses are the 12 slices of
the pie. The pie in the sky.
The pie in the sky is divided into 12 pieces, and every piece is a different energy, and we start from the rising. So the rising sign, which is a 9 o'clock, 9 in the clock, right on that side over there.
Okay.
And it's counterclockwise. So we start at 9 and we go counterclockwise. This is how the chart is read.
Okay.
You go from the 9, that's where there's going to be an arrow or something that says AC or ASC for ascendant. Ascendant is rising, it's the same thing. We go from the rising sign all the way to the first house. Typically, the chart is already going to be divided when you find it online. It's going to be divided into 12 houses. So the first house, having Jupiter in Leo in the first house, means that you're a Leo rising. When you have Jupiter on your rising, your life is about to change. Your life, not a part of your life.
Your whole life.
There is a big energy that's trying to come through and to expand you. In the second house, if you have Leo in the second house, you can expect some change in money and income. Now, you have to be prepared because the brachot are always coming, but is the vessel ready? That's the question.
Right. So that's the thing. Like, you can get ready. You can be intentional.
You have to be intentional. That's also why astrology is extremely useful, because if you know what's coming, you can be ready.
Right. So if you have Leo in your second house, which you can see in your chart, there's some change happening in that specific aspect of your life.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the second house is the house of values, worth, money, possessions. So think about money, expansion of money. In the third house, we have the house of communication. Leo in the third house, you have to be more of a creative speaker, a creative communicator, a more public speaker. Step into your gifts of communication. If you have Jupiter in the fourth house of Leo, expand your family life. If you don't have a family, expand your inner home. Have more love towards yourself. Create more safety and radiance and warmth inside. The fourth house, the house of Cancer, is the house of family and home and safety. If you have Leo in the fifth house, you have to expand in your creative gifts. If you are dating, it's a great placement to find love and to have more passion, and maybe to conceive a child if you have Leo in the fifth house and you have Jupiter in Leo. If you have Leo in the sixth house, Jupiter and Leo in the sixth house, you are asked to take up more space in your everyday life. So maybe it's the time to quit that job. Maybe it's the time to be more radical when it comes to making yourself come first in your everyday life, where your life becomes a place of play and fun and excitement and vibrancy. When we have Leo in the seventh house, so that's your house, you have Leo in the seventh house, Chavie, it's an expansion in marital life. Now, you also have Venus and Mercury in Leo. So for you, this transit is going to affect you throughout the year. If you just had your sun in Leo, it would be for a few months, for a few weeks, a few months, and then moving on. But after it's past your sun, it's going to be on your Venus and then your Mercury. So it's actually asking you to tap into the seventh house, is the house of marriage. So more love, more intimacy, more passion, more fun, more creativity in marriage.
Okay.
Now you have your sun there because
I'm a Leo sun.
Exactly. So it's more of Chavie in the house of marriage.
Okay.
If someone has Jupiter and Leo in the seventh house, but they don't have their sun there, it just means that there is an expansion of blessings and vibrancy in marriage, but often that will affect their partner. But you are there, so it's affecting you. It's happening through you. Then your Venus, so then it's also passion, because Venus is the planet of romantic love. It's also the planet of money in the seventh house. So that's potentially making money with a partner, with a best friend, with a collaborator. And then Mercury in the eighth house. So that's if someone has Jupiter in the eighth house, which is the house of intimacy and depth, you have Mercury there. So you are communicating topics of psychology and transformation and spirituality.
Which is what I love to do in general.
This is so a way to look at the chart when you read the chart is obviously, you have to read between the lines. Mercury rules your moon. Mercury is the planet that rules Gemini. because remember that every planet has a sign. You have your moon in Gemini. So we know that for your emotional safety, your non-negotiable need is to communicate. But what kind of communication? What keeps you safe, what keeps you happy, what keeps you together, and what keeps you grounded is having transformational conversations. It's going deep. This is not just something you like to do. It's what keeps you safe.
Yes. I always say, I'm like, I have to, or else I feel like I'm going to jump out of my skin.
Yeah. And now this moon is in the 6th house of your everyday life. So it's not something you do sometimes. It's your life. Your life has to be about this meaningful conversation, going deeper, going further, psychology, intensity, religion, intimacy, sex, taboos. Those are very much themes that you need to engage with just to be okay.
Just to be okay.
This is basic.
I try to explain that to my husband all the time. I'm like, you have to. I have to.
Well, he's a Gemini, so he understands.
But he understands, but then sometimes he's just like, I have no patience for you, the constant, like, taking apart things and going deep. Like, it's exhausting.
Yeah, he's a Sagittarius before being a Gemini moon. So
exactly.
He's like, let's go. Like,
yes,
let's go.
He's like, okay, I got the point. Let's go.
Yeah, like you're distracting me. Like, let's go further. And So, okay, so let's keep going. So Jupiter in Leo in the 9th house, you become a greater educator. There is more teaching that needs to happen. Your heart has to be in your belief system. Do you believe in what you preach? Like, do you like this? Does it make sense to you? Is there passion? That's if you have Jupiter in Leo in the 9th house. Jupiter in Leo in the 10th house, you are called to shine as a public figure. So you need to take up space on the public stage. You need to show your artistry. Leo is the sign of creativity, the performer, the artist, and this is public. We're entering the realm of the public with the 10th house, which is your work. 11th house, you're taking up that space in community. In the collective, you become that person. You are the Leo. So there is an expansion of capacity for you to shine in front of the world. Then in the 12th house, this is highly spiritual. So we go from the 10th house, which is your work, your mastery, your public-facing energy, to the 11th house where we have community, to the 12th house where we have spirituality. And that's where we have Hashem, that's where we have God. You have Jupiter in the 12th house always. That's where it was at the time of your birth. When someone has Jupiter in the 12th house, they can have really big dreams about God. They can really understand Hashem almost like in this anthropomorphical way, where Hashem is almost like a person to them.
And that's like a Pisces energy too, right?
It's the house of Pisces. It's the energy of Pisces. But if you have Leo there, then you sort of have this, maybe you have this profound connection to people, to tzaddikim, to your ancestors, because Leo is the larger than life energy in the 12th house of Pisces. So it's really connecting to God through ancestors, through tzaddikim, through dreams, through just channeling those energies. So people should look at their chart, see where they have Jupiter touching Leo. So Leo is somewhere in their chart in one of the 12 houses that we just listed. And also in general, this month is a month where we are getting ready for the world to change. Really, in 2026, and it's 26 obviously a big number for us. This year is a big year, astrologically. All the planets are moving into fire or air signs. So this year, all the planets, which are the bigger planets, not the small planets, right? So Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, those planets are moving into fire or air. Fire is action, activation, movement, inspiration, and air is intelligence, knowingness, mental energy. So we are being carried by, it's almost like the memo in the White House. The memo is, we got to go. We got to go fast and we got to go far.
We have things to do.
And it's being directly channeled. Everyone's intelligence is going to just like get a boost and everyone's going to be ready to go. So the planets are really activating us. Now we know that we believe that we are in a limited time frame and that the Geula comes after this experiment is over. So we're always getting ready for it. And we know we're also in the time where it could happen anytime.
Yeah.
So when the planets are making such movements, it really is a reminder that it's a ticking clock and we're just getting readier and readier, and we have to have the vessel ready.
Wow. So here's the thing. You can be like, okay, astrology is not for me. This isn't for me, and dismiss it. But what I feel so passionate about, which is why I really, really wanted you to be on the podcast, is because why would you do that? Why would you ignore, like you said, like Hashem's messengers for us, and then tapping in, because we're all different, right? And we all have a unique picture of our energy. So here's an opportunity where there's like a huge shift going on in the world. You find it in your chart, and then you have like a little window into where you can affect and like expand your energy to also, it's not just for yourself, right? Because we believe in the collective. So we need each and every one of us to like what's the word? Embody their energy so collectively we can be ready.
Yeah, we are all the organs of this one same body.
Yeah. So we all need each other.
Yeah, this is a fundamental principle that we all belong. We are all the same body. We all create the completion of wholeness that needs to come together so that God can come and meet us. We have to be ready together. So your responsibility to serve through your gifts, through your talents, the work you have to do, your avoda, your tikkun amida, the rectification of your character traits, is for you and it's also for others. Typically, people are really happy to be given the permission that they can do that because they really want it. Everybody wants help. Everybody wants to know their blueprint.
Yeah.
People that are here, that are conscious, that are wanting for this experiment to end so we can be ushered into the next stage of what this is supposed to be, are more than happy to look at their chart and connect and reclaim the language that Hashem spoke to Abraham in the beginning of time. So I think that it's more a question of giving people that permission and then letting them explore, and then there is a value shift that needs to happen. People have values that are not theirs. We really want to serve God. We want to connect with our soul. We want to do what's best. But the world tells us this is how you do it, which is not true. So once you understand that it's not your belief anymore, you can slowly start making a change and you can transition into what your belief actually is. If I tell you the shamash is the shamash, you're the helper. You're just a servant of God. When you go on stage, sing, speak loud, reclaim space, you're serving God. And even though the messaging was always be small, hide, go to the back of the line, don't take up too much space. That was the Yetzer Hara.
Don't be too much.
Don't be too much. And Leos have to be too much. They really do. Right? It's the Yetzer Hara that wants to keep you small. And your job, the same way you came all the way down to reclaim your spot in heaven, to ascend, you are here doing that today when you are pushing away the negative energies and reclaiming your place in the spotlight. So people need to have the permission, which we give them enough to that sense of go and find your chart and read and get the books and explore and talk to your friends about it, and then change your value system. If you realize that you as the Capricorn rising, you've always felt like your life has to be hard. You have to work hard. You have to be more the parent than anyone else. You have to take on, well, maybe it's time to realign more towards, and you're going to be 42 years old.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So in this week's parasha, we talk about the 42 journeys, 21
really?
days.
No way.
I think so.
Yeah, we do. We talk about all the journeys.
Right?
I did my chitas this week. I know.
There you go. It's 42. It's 42. It's 21 days, the 3 weeks, which is 21 days of holidays. We have 21 days of holiday in Jewish calendar. We have 21 days of this dark energy that we're in right now, the 3 weeks of the breaking of the home, which we have to bring back together. Right? When we bring the home back together, we bring ourselves back together. When we realign. So if you were to say, Chavie, you're done working so hard, I'm going to mother you now. This is how you create this warmth, this embrace within the cracks. So you rebuild your own inner home so that Hashem could bring the home down, right? We all have to engage in the work of building the inner home. 42 is a big number because it stops. 42 journeys, you're done, you're ready now, you're on your path.
Wow. I love that. I was just saying, like, I feel like 42 for some reason, I didn't know, I didn't have words for it. I didn't understand it, but I'm like, 42 feels significant for some reason. And I didn't know why.
It's the 42 journeys. 42 is a very significant number. So it took time. And today you can say, I'm on this path now.
I love that. How do you know when something is not your energy or not your narrative, or it's like a generational or it's a collective or it's the world? Like, how do you know how to separate from that?
So first you need to sort of pay attention to the way the world is run.
Okay.
Pay attention to what you were told in childhood, the way your parents raised you. That's already a past outdated energy. So pay attention to the ancient ways that we have been ruled that are no longer relevant.
Okay.
Just I like to think about people having 9 to 5, retiring at a certain age, having 401ks, going on vacations 2 weeks out of the year. I like to just look at the way the world is run and see the complete insanity that we have now accepted as normal.
Right. And that's how it's supposed to be.
This is the way the world is run. Interesting, because the way that the world is run is what we sort of have to go against, because it's the neshama reclaiming yourself back. So us going into nature more, or us saying, like the Lubavitcher Rebbe says, you don't retire. It's
right.
made, right? Like, okay, we know this is not how we're supposed to be living our life. So first, have awareness. Once you have awareness, you'll see that the world is set up to make you fail because you are here to win. Right? It's like Ratzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu lezakot et Yisrael. God wanted to give us zchut, merit. That's why the game is rigged, so that we fall, so that we win, so that we say, oh, I saw that. I saw the food they wanted me to eat, which disconnects me from my sense of self, right? It's like in America, for example, there are foods that are illegal to eat in France that the kids eat every day. Kids drink blue food coloring in Gatorade every day in America. You cannot sell that in France. It's illegal because it's so dangerous. So just look around and see, because this is going to give you a lot of information as to what you're being put up against. Once you realize that the game is rigged, trying to make you fail, right? It's like the neshama has to stay as wide as she can, even though it's a very thin hallway. The hallway is very dirty, and she has to try to cross that bridge. Obviously, the neshama always stays pure. The neshama never gets stained. But still, she's trying to, and right now the planet Venus has just entered Virgo, which is the sign of purity, the Betula, the Virgin. So there is even more that energy of trying to stay pure and connected to God that we're all feeling right now. So if you see what's going on in the world, what people do, what they're trying to sell to you, what is free, remember that when something is free, you are the product. When people are trying to give you something for free, there's something from you that they want to get. So pay attention to what is free in the world. Pay attention to what people are trying to make you do. Because what the world is trying to make you do essentially is stripping you away from your own agency.
Well, there's so much like gold in here. I think I'm going to listen to it over and over again. You have to, just because there's so much here.
Just to finish, then to not get too carried away.
Yeah.
You need to speak to your soul.
Yes.
That's what you need to do, because my soul is very different from yours. And you can't tell me how to be, and no one can. And to understand what is programming versus what is yours, you need to spend time alone with your own neshama. No one knows what you know. And if you know that, you are good.
I really love that. So the last, I have so many. I mean, we could go on forever, but this nature piece, I just want to touch on that for a few minutes. I live in Montana. I live in nature. I thank Hashem every single day that I have the opportunity to walk outside, reconnect, get grounded. Like, it's just so accessible to me. And you talked a lot about nature, Hashem. Not everybody gets to live in nature. Some people are living with the concrete and the buildings and away from grass, So, and it's so important. So what are ways that people who are living in big cities to tap into that piece? Because I think it's so important. And I constantly ask myself, what do people who live in the city do? Like, how do they stay connected and grounded? Because I don't know. I honestly don't know.
So number one, I think that people should make the plans to move
Out of the city.
Yeah, I think that you should have it in your 5 to 10 year plan to exit the city, to be well. To be well, you need to be in nature. We are meant to be in nature. So if you thought, well, I live here, well, think again. You don't have to live there. You can live 45 minutes away from your city is a suburb where there is more nature.
Right.
So number one, make a long-term plan to move. Number two, have plants. Go away on the weekends, connect to the trees in your neighborhood, have flowers, and try to eat food that, maybe is organic or grown.
Comes from the ground.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That not even mentioned that, but yes. So, like in small ways, like in big ways and small ways. Like we don't have to live in cities. We can live close to the cities. But people also forget they have agency. It's like, well, I live here. Okay, but who said?
Right. Who said you have to be there all the time?
Exactly.
And also, if you're living there right now and for some reason you feel like you can't move, you need to bring nature into your life. You have to. Like you said, plants in your house. On the weekends, go to the park. Drive an hour to...
Being a weekend warrior. A weekend warrior is someone who on the weekend goes to the nearest national park, goes to a park, spends time in nature. Try to breathe in nature as much as you can when you can. Of course, young families just starting out in a small apartment, that's the life of a lot of people. And that's fine. It's a fine way to start life. But make a plan to have space, to have nature, to have room for, the kids to roam around, for you to be able to do your morning meditation outside. And in the meantime, be a weekend warrior, bring plants into your home, and get food that are grown as locally as possible, because that's going to connect your body with the grass, with the ground.
I love that so much. Okay, so for real, to wrap up, could you tell us your favorite thing about each sign?
Ooh, okay.
I know there's a lot, but let's say you were just like, okay, what's your favorite? Like, because there's something beautiful, right? There's something beautiful about every sign. There's these things are like, what's the worst sign? What's the this sign? What's the that sign? But I feel like there's something amazing and beautiful about every sign. I want to know what they are.
Great. So first of all, we all have the 12 signs. It's very important for people to know that. We all have, every sign is our sign. There isn't a sign that we don't have. Of course, your sun sign.
I didn't know that. I mean, I knew that in the last little while, but you don't know that. You don't realize that you have everything, a little bit of everything, which is amazing.
We all have each other. And that's the concept of every tribe, every one of these 12 tribes is connected to a mazal, to a sign. And we are all the 12 tribes. Like we are all a people.
Yeah.
We all have the energy of every tribe within, right? It's the energy of like that primordial body. In Kabbalah, it's called Adam Kadmon. Yeah. So the first sign is Aries, Nisan, Mazal Taleh. My favorite thing about Aries is that it's the best sign. Without Aries, we don't have anything. It's the sign that starts. It's the sign that says, let's go. Through fire and blood. In life, you go through fire and blood to start. I'm going to try to be fast because I can get so carried away. So
you don't have to. I love it.
How much time do we have?
We could forever.
Okay. So you just said my favorite thing, not my worst thing, right? Just my favorite thing about each sign.
No, you could do a favorite and a worst. Do it. So fun. Okay.
So favorite thing about Aries is self-starter, go-getter. Without Aries, we don't have anything. It's a sign that is willing to take the leap of faith. Be the first. Right, Nachshon. Enter the water. The worst thing about Aries is aggressivity and lack of care for others. They can't really care about others. Like Nachshon can't worry about the mom and the kids in the back. He just has to go. Aries. Taurus. The best thing about Taurus is the sign of nature, is a sign of sensuality, of physicality. We have Taurus during ER. ER is Ani Hashem Rofecha. We heal through nature. We need nature to heal. There is no healing without nature. There is no healing without connection to source. There is no healing without you barefoot on the ground, listening to the noises of nature. Spheras at Omer happens during ER, the month of quiet, where we can listen to the sound of nature and connect back to ourselves. This is how we heal. The shadow aspect of Taurus is stuckness and complacency. It's like a bull that refuses to move, and the Taurus can be very stuck in its ways. Then we have Gemini. The light Gemini is very, very interestingly, Gemini is one of the major holidays that we don't celebrate on the full moon. We celebrate Shavuot in Sivan during the 6th and 7th. 6 is I can't get too carried away. I have to be strong.
I love it.
Mutable air is we receive the Torah during Gemini season. It's the season that Hashem speaks to us. Hashem talks to us in Gemini energy. It's open, it's bright, it's light, it's airy, it's curious, it's fun, it's vibrant. It has the polarity. Hashem talks to us to polarity. When people want to say, well, this is the Torah, like, actually not. Actually, we have lots of different ways to go about things. Elu ve'elu jivrei Elohim chaim. This is true and that is true. That's Gemini. And this is when Hashem decided to give us the Torah. So it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Gemini is the sign that can channel because it's open. The shadow of Gemini is distractibility. It's, another idea, another concept. At some point, you're going to have to lock in. Gemini. After Gemini, we have Cancer. I'm going to start with the worst trait of Cancer because Cancer is a very hard sign. Cancer is very, very, very hard sign because it's the sign of love and because love is given to the mother. A mother that cannot love her children will be the most horrible person on earth. There is something horrific about a mother that can't love.
Yeah.
And that destruction is why we stop the 3 weeks during Tammuz. Because when love is misguided, misconstrued, we have horror. We really have horror. So Cancer is a really hard sign. It's a sign of love. If they don't understand how to deal with their emotions, they will be the biggest bullies. So Cancers really have a lot of work to do. They have to learn.
You have to make sure to stay in that light.
You can't detach emotionally. You can't be a bully. Like, you have a lot of love in your heart. Make sure to journal on that love. Make sure to be surrounded by loving people. Make sure to love. When something gets too much, don't become mean. Don't lose your heart. Just learn to taper down. Calm down. It's a very impulsive, aggressive sign that really is the sign of love. So Cancer is the lover, the protector, the nurturer, the one who creates the safety of the home. But you have a big job. It's like you're a mother, you're going to decide to be a mother. You have to be a good mother. That's Cancer. Then Leo, the light of Leo is go for it. Please go for it. Go shine. Moshe Rabbeinu says, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Hashem says, I'm choosing you. I'm choosing you. You have to go. And this is the energy of Leo. You have been chosen. It's not about you. So shine. Be in your light. You are just serving God. Those gifts are not yours. You did not make them up. God gave them to you to channel out into the world. So to go and do that. Be the shamash. The shadow of Leo is very easy to notice. It's when people are just in their ego. They have to look at themselves in the mirror. They have to look really good. Nobody else exists. It's very toxic. And it's so basic that it's just very predictable.
Yeah.
So that's Leo. Then we have Virgo. Virgo is the Betula, the virgin, the pure energy of wanting to come back to Hashem. So once I create Leo, now I want to take my offering and I want to be useful with it. I want to serve Hashem with it, right? Virgo is the healer. Virgo is the nurse. She's the woman that comes in to help, to care, to be a caretaker, to be a lover. She doesn't exist. She's very selfless. So it's the energy of the month of Elul when we get ready for Rosh Hashanah and we prepare the keli, you prepare the vessel. Very devotional, very beautiful.
Is there like a character trait of perfection with Virgo?
Virgos are perfectionists. That's the shadow of Virgo, perfectionistic, anxious, and very much focused on finding what's broken. But that's because they're the healer.
Yeah,
right?
So they have to look for it.
They are looking, that's your stop.
Right.
Stop looking at what's broken. Sometimes nothing's broken. Like, can you just still be in devotion? Can you still love without saying,
something's wrong?
You saw your daughter and you were like, let me fix your shirt. And it's like, can you just stop? Can you just love me like that? Can I be okay for you? I know you want my best, but can you not? Find what's broken. Just leave it. So that's Virgo. That's Virgo in the light is the devotion, the connection to Hashem that's so pure. And we need to connect to that before Rosh Hashanah, before Libra. So Libra is the union, divine union. Libra is partnership, collaboration. The shadow of Libra is losing yourself in the other person. Your sun is in the house of Libra, Chavie, the 7th house. So the way that you understand yourself is through your husband. So that's something to be mindful of. Libras understand themselves through another person. It's tricky because you're supposed to understand yourself through you. You're supposed to have a strong sense of identity. So Libra is a sign of beauty, of divine union, of connection, of harmony. It's a beautiful sign. The shadow of Libra is indecisiveness. It's the scales that are always, waging. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's exhausting. To be with the Libra is exhausting. They can't make up their mind. It's like they're the people that look at the menu and then they order and then they order again and then they're not sure and then they went there. It's impossible.
Love that.
Scorpio is the sign of transformation. It's a sign of depth. It's the hardest sign to be, is to be a Scorpio. It's a sign that has the most tikkunim, the most avoda, is a Scorpio. Scorpio is a sign of solitude, of pain, of separation from God. It's the sign where there's no holidays. And you have to be in your joy when you're a Scorpio. It's very hard for a Scorpio to be in joy because they're very comfortable being miserable. They know underground, in the darkness, dissolving and dying. They can die. But can they live? And that's Sagittarius. That's your husband's energy. It's emerging back from the darkness. And Sagittarius is this. We celebrate Hanukkah during Sagittarius season because it's the energy of miracle. It's you died during Scorpio season. It's like the seed was rotting. You still believed enough in the light that you emerged out of the decay and you sprout. That's Sagittarius. There is more. There is better. There is faith.
Wow.
And this is the energy of looking for the oil amidst the ruins, because Hashem is going to put it there for you, and it's the looking that creates the oil. It's the faith that creates the opening. It's when Nachshon walks through that it opened, not before. So the shadow of Sagittarius is everything that's wrong with your husband. But I'm a know-it-all. I know best. They are reckless, Sagittarius, in their desire to do things and to be grand. They can
my God, it's so hilarious. My husband and I always have this conversation. He's like, what are we doing next? Like, what building are we buying? What thing? And I'm just like, hold on. Like, hold on.
Yes.
It's so fun to see that.
I know. It's so on point. It's crazy. So Sagittarius shadow is the recklessness. It's like overly optimistic, like relax, say thank you for what you have. After that, we have Capricorn, which is the mountain goat. It's the energy of, are we in order? Did we do all of them? We're up to Capricorn?
Yeah, I think so.
Great. We spoke about Leo and Virgo and Libra. So Capricorn is the sign of mastery. I love Capricorn. It's one of my favorite signs.
Really?
Yeah. Capricorn, because Capricorns just get things done. They just get things done. They are not afraid. They work hard. They understand why we're here, right? Capricorn is the energy of Galut. It's Tevet, it's dark month. It's like, that's why we're here. We came here in Galut to bring the Geula, so we're here. Sagittarius is an amazing sign. Capricorn is an amazing sign. Sagittarius gives you the faith. Capricorn gives you the stamina to work at it. Your husband buys the building and you're like, fine, this is what we're going to do now. This is the plan.
Literally.
Right? We're going to go about, this is the money we're going to raise, this is the design, this is what it's going to look like. Tachlis energy, that's Capricorn. After Capricorn, we have Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of disruption and shock. Oh, we worked. Like, he buys the building, you set it up, and when you open the doors, it's nothing that people expected. It's new, it's vibrant, it's disruptive, it's a little chaotic, it's a little shocking, but it's freeing. Aquarius is the sign of disruption for the sake of liberation. I'm going to shock you so I can free you. Right? It's like Moshe Rabbeinu coming and not looking like a Jew at all. Looking like a magician, looking like an Egyptian, not looking like a rabbi at all. Moshe was with Yitro, and before that he was with Pharaoh. So that's Aquarius energy, the water bearer. And the water bearer of Aquarius is the one who gives the Torah, Moshe.
So what's an Aquarius personality? Different, unique?
Elon Musk as Mars in Aquarius. It's
strange.
High functioning autism.
Yeah.
A real Aquarius is not of this world. It's of the next world. It's been there before. And Aquarius is of the future. So it comes in the world and it's like, what is everybody doing here? It's so old and outdated and bizarre.
They're like 10 steps ahead.
They're from a different world. So if you have a neurodivergent child, look for Aquarius energy. Because they don't think like everyone else. They are the aliens of the world. The Aquariuses are here. It's like Elon Musk as this drive to bring everybody to Mars. It has this drive. Like, where does that even come from? Like, who are you to think like that. And what are you doing? Well, he wants to save the world, and he doesn't care. It's an emotionally detached energy. It's not emotionally attached to anything. It can't.
Right.
Aquarius is what happens after Capricorn. So Capricorn, you're on the top of the mountain god has climbed, and then you can see above the horizon. Aquarius is the horizon.
Wow. It's so cool how it goes, and like it's like a one builds on top of the other. It's a process.
It's the cycle of life. It's the cycle of the year, and it's Aries is the birth. Pisces is the sign we just arrived to. It's death. Pisces is what happens after. Pisces is, oh, I'm close to Hashem now. I understand everything. It's the energy of Ad Deloyada from Purim, where you are above the mind, above space, and you understand, right? Where this Purim story, you don't see Hashem's name in the Megillah, but Hashem is everywhere. So you understand what was going on. It's like, oh, the veil is finally lifted. We were all wearing a mask. It was a game. It was a charade. Pisces is understanding everything was a charade. It's the sign of transcendence, of the other side, the sign of what happens after. And then we start over. Aries, every year on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, we start over.
So what's it like to be a Pisces?
Pisces, it's a very difficult sign to have. Pisces are deeply spiritual, deeply artistic, deeply sensitive. Pisces is the last sign. It carries the energy of previous lifetimes, of people's old pain, people's energies. Being a Pisces needs a lot of love, a lot of TLC, a lot of support. People that are Pisces need to have support. They need friends. They need people with money to help them. They need support. It's hard to be Pisces. The world is not really made for Pisces.
Right. Because they're so spiritual, right? So they're like, what am I even doing here?
That's why a lot of Pisces, the shadow of Pisces is drugs and escaping through substances. So a Pisces will escape through smoking or doing drugs because they can't be here. Their body can't be here. That's why we need to be very kind and very nice and very loving to our Pisces. And that's why Pisces need to have a lot of spiritual practices. A Pisces needs to be very, very connected to God, because if they're not, they don't understand the world. But if you are, you understand.
It grounds them.
Exactly. Your neshama came. You're here for a tikkun. It's not going to last forever. Look at your birth chart. Find your spiritual community. Have music. Have art in your life. Those are the people that really need artistry to just be okay.
Yeah.
But the light of Pisces is the sign that rules photography, cinematography, art, spirituality. So it's a beautiful sign. But think about an artist. An artist that's not
like a tortured artist, like it's hard to be an artist. You're bringing so much beauty, but it could be very challenging.
Yeah, think about the greatest artists who died in the street without a penny.
Right.
So it's that pain. That's the pain that they carry. But aligned it's a Pisces is a mystic.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
That's the cycle.
Wow. Thank you so much for taking us through that. I think it's just incredible. There's so much here to really enhance our lives. I just want to end off with talking a little bit about what you have to offer on a day-to-day basis. So you can be part of like the AstroTorah community, which I am, by the way. And Naomi has two Zooms a month.
Yeah.
Right? And one Zoom is talking about the energy of the month.
Yes. So we have the new moon on Rosh Chodesh.
The new moon.
Right around Rosh Chodesh. And the full moon, where we discuss during that live call, where is that sign in your chart?
Right. So you can tap into that energy every month. And I love it. I don't always get to come, but when I am there, I gain so much from it. So we'll put all the information in the show notes. So there'll be your website. There'll be places where you can explore. And if anything, look up your chart, start to like dip your toes in, start to see how this it's supposed to be, like you said, like a portal, a expansion, a place where you can just get bigger and understand and listen to your soul. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Chavie.
It was incredible. Thank you. Okay. Was that the best or what? I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on this episode because I know this topic is it could be a very heated topic or a hot topic, or people have a lot of strong feelings around it. And I can't wait to hear what your thoughts are. Were you a believer before and now you understand it even more? Were you skeptical and now you're like a little less skeptical? Did this make you more skeptical? Did you look up your sign to find out like which sign applies to you? Okay, I can't wait to hear it all. Please send me feedback. I always love feedback, but especially on this episode with this subject that I'm so passionate about, I really want to hear how it landed and what were some of the takeaways. Okay, so the voice note question of the week was, what's something you're scared to do and what's holding you back? This question was inspired by last episode with Dina Schusterman, who, first of all, incredible episode. If you haven't listened to it, what are you waiting for? Dina Schusterman wrote a book. It's coming out any day. It's incredible. We talk all about it on the episode, but a big theme of what we talked about is doing something that's scary. And writing a book is really scary. It's really vulnerable. You have to put yourself out there. You don't know what the outcome is going to be. You don't know how people are going to receive the most inner parts of yourself. And that is really brave and really scary. So it inspired this question that I'm curious, like, is there something that you've been waiting to do, wanting to do, that you're scared to do? And I think verbalizing it is a really good idea. First of all, don't underestimate verbal processing. Sometimes when we hear ourselves say it out loud, it sometimes helps bring us clarity. We oftentimes have the answer to ourselves. It's good to get out of our head. So I was hoping that you guys would share with me some of those fears that you have. The truth is it was a really quick turnaround. I only had, because I was traveling overseas, I only had 24 hours to put the question out and turn around and record. So I didn't get as many as I had hoped, but don't ever hesitate. You can always still reach out. It just won't be on the podcast. So that was the question of this week. And yeah, it was really interesting after Dina's episode aired, the feedback that I was getting from that episode, because Dina says things the way that she sees them. And I love it so much. I love when people don't sugarcoat things and they just say their truth and just say what their life experience is without any qualifications, without any disclaimers. That's the word, disclaimers. I love that. And I think her episode might bring up stuff for people. Her book definitely might bring up stuff for people. And it was interesting to experience that. And yeah. So anyways, without further ado, here is the first voice note.
Some ideas about this come to my head. For instance, making commitments, long-term commitments, and especially taking a long-term job. I guess the challenge of commitment comes to my head of feeling of failure. What if I don't do it right? Or I can't commit for a long time, or I don't like the job, or what do I want to do? And I spin my wheels over that.
Okay, how relatable is that? I love this voice note so much. And it was just like sharing it like it is. Like, I'm scared of commitment. I'm scared of committing to a long-term job. What if I don't do it well? What if I don't like it? What if something better comes along? And I think that is so relatable. And there is this idea of being scared of commitment. There's also this scary feeling of like being tied down to something. I think talking about astrology, I think there's a certain type of person that doesn't want to be tied down and it feels trapped. I wonder, maybe if this person finds out their sign, you can kind of work with that. Some people aren't meant to be tied down, but the struggle and the fear still exists. And sometimes it's really hard to take that step of committing to something because of all the different fears that are playing in your head, of all the scenarios, that all the what ifs. And I really get that. I understand that. And I thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that with us. I wonder if anybody listening has tips or strategies to slowly but surely be less afraid of commitment. I think a lot of good things can come from committing to something. Because actually, at the end of the day, let's play this out, right? Let's say the fear pans out and you don't like the job. Okay. So don't stay in it. Nothing has to be forever. Nothing is permanent. And I think sometimes talking through like the worst case scenarios and the fears of what is holding us back can really help us put things in their place and put some of those fears aside, or just say, okay, I hear you. That's a fear. And so what? So I don't like the job. Okay. So either I stay in a job that I don't love, which is also not the end of the world, depending on what type of job it is, or I don't stay in the job and I find another one. Or about fear of not doing it right. Okay. We all have to learn. We all have to fail. We all, nobody's perfect. But I get why these fears really keep us handicapped. And sometimes I find that playing out the worst case scenario is helpful. It's not helpful for everybody, but sometimes it's helpful for me, because it's like, okay, is that really that bad? Like, is that going to be the end of the world? And yeah, so those are some of the thoughts that come to my head with that voice note. And thank you for sharing.
Hey, Chavie, this is your producer, Ellie. So, I don't have a specific thing in mind that I want to do that I'm scared to do, and that's like something specific holding me back. But I have this like general feeling of like not knowing what the line is between going for something, like diving in head first, closing your eyes and just like doing it, or preparing and training and doing all the legwork, putting in the work before going out and doing it. And I know that I have the tendency to procrastinate, to feel like, no, it's not perfect enough, it's not good enough, and to keep working at it and working at it and working at it. In the meantime, I'm not just like going and doing it. And then sometimes I actually could be super impulsive and jump in too quick. And I kind of vacillate between these two tendencies and have a very hard time with the balance. Like, I'm working on a writing project, and I'm convinced that I am putting in all the necessary work to do it right, and not to go, and not to put out something that's not the best quality writing. But it's taking me years at this point to actually get it done. And on the other hand, just last month, just totally on a whim, I got on the car, got on the road, and left my house for a month and went on a road trip. So like and that could create chaos and problems and whatever. So this is like a general existential challenge that I have, that I struggle with. And I want to be the person that is never scared and dives right in. But then when I'm too impulsive, I feel like, oh no, I'm being lazy and not putting in the work. And so I really wish I knew what the balance was.
Oh my gosh, I love this voice note so much. I have so much to say. Okay, first of all, I'm a little happy that you're more of a perfectionist, because as my producer, you do a really great job, and I'm the opposite of a perfectionist. And so I'm a little bit more, I don't know if impulsive is the right word. I'm not so detail oriented, and I also don't have a lot of patience. So it's just really great and important to have a producer who is more in tune to all the little details and to make sure that everything is top notch. So selfishly, that is a great quality. And we argue about this sometimes. Just do it, or no, it's not good enough, or you know what I mean? Like, so it definitely, it's good that there's that balance, because we both everybody needs to be pushed out of their comfort zone. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. I really relate to this conundrum of how do you know when to jump in? I think that is such a important and relatable and real life $1 million question. Like, how do you know when to jump in? How do you know when to just put everything aside and just do it? And then when you want to do something right, putting all that, the back end and the effort into it to make sure that it's done well. And I struggle with this too sometimes. I mean, just in connection to the podcast, like I mulled over doing a podcast for a very long time. I found out that the way that I went about it is a very Leo way to do things, which is like you think about something forever and then all of a sudden you decide and it's like almost like you made the decision on a whim, because like when you decide, you decide. And that's kind of how it was for me. But then I was like, okay, I know I want to do this, but then I knew I couldn't do it myself. I knew that I needed support. I knew that I needed help. And so I got that in place. And then we actually spent a lot of time preparing and working on the podcast. So when it launched, it was ready to be launched. So I think there is, like everything in life, this delicate balance of nothing ever being too extreme. I think this is like the answer to most questions, right? Middle ground, not too extreme, finding balance. I think balance is the answer to so many questions. So I think it's a little bit of both. I guess there's no such thing as have to, but for me, I'm like, you can't not be spontaneous. Like spontaneous and doing things on a whim, like you going on that trip was absolutely 100% the best thing you could have done. Can you imagine if you decided not to? And so, okay, so there's a little chaos. Oh, okay. Life is chaotic sometimes. And then on the flip side, preparing and putting your best effort and your best work out there is also so admirable and so huge. I think we all know deep down when it's, let's say you're putting out something and it's taking you forever and you're tweaking and you're tweaking and you're tweaking and perfect and like wanting it to be perfect. I think like everybody, if they really are quiet, they can know if it still actually needs perfecting, or there's procrastination, or there's fear, or there's like a stuckness. I think we just have to be really honest with ourselves and be in tune. Like, when is it crossing the line from putting out a good, responsible, ready product to this is stuck and are you ever going to do it? And it's never going to be 100% perfect. So you have to call it at a certain point. That's how I see it. At a certain point, if you're just spinning your wheels, you have to call it. Now, writing projects in particular, that was just a general comment, but in particular with a writing project, like I know for a fact those take a very long time. And it takes a ton of tweaking and a ton of editing and a ton of back end work. So this is not specifically in connection to that project, but in general, I think, yeah, we just got to be honest. Like, when is it? Because you can do that forever. You can perfect something for forever, right? What is that saying? The perfect is the enemy of good, right? It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. So is that holding you back? And I think there is, on the flip side, like wanting to do something spontaneous, like going on a trip, 100%. Somebody asked me a question recently about the podcast, and she was looking to start a podcast and she was asking my advice. And she was like, do I just do it and just not worry about the quality and how it works, just sit in front of a mic and do it? Or do I need to do all this prep and all of this groundwork and legwork before? And I don't know if there's a really a right answer. I mean, you got to really ask yourself, what are you trying to do? What's your purpose? But I do think, like, for me, my work is slowing down and is being patient and is making sure that I have a product that reflects what I am and what I'm proud of and what I'm trying to do, because I can err on the side of, I have no patience, I just want to get this done. So my work is to slow it down, and some other people's work might be to get out of their heads and just do it, even if it's not perfect. Even with all the preparation and all the legwork and all the energy, we have put into this podcast, the biggest vulnerable experience has been this podcast because it's never perfect. And I listen back to interviews and I can say all the places where I should have done this, or I should have said this, or I interrupted, or, you know, and yet it still has to go out there. The interviews still get posted, even though they're not perfect. And even though I know where all the mistakes are, and yet it's still out there. So that's been my huge vulnerability project. And look how I made this all about me. But anyway, first of all, I really appreciate for you bringing up this kind of dilemma that I think most of us are faced with all the time. And I think the more you get to know yourself and the more you are willing to be quiet and the more you block out all the noise, the answers are inside of us of when something needs more time and when something is just, when there's excuses and when it's scary and when you just have to put it out there and you have to let go. So those are my 2 cents. But in general, going out of your comfort zone and doing hard things is a subject that I really love to talk about. And it's kind of my jam. One of the things that I live by is that if something is really hard or really confronting, it's probably exactly where you're meant to be. And I find this to be very much part of my life, day in and day out. I always joke, I'm like, I don't know what a comfort zone is. I've been living so far out of my comfort zone for most of my life, at least for most of my married life, that it's just kind of the normal for me. And yet, even then, there are things that I still haven't done because they're scary, or because I don't know how, or because it doesn't feel like the right time. But there is something there, like on the other side of fear and on the other side of comfortable is where your life is at. So I just really hope that anybody who's listening to this just feels a little bit more encouraged or a little bit more heard or a little bit more seen, that yes, it's so normal to be scared and to be scared of failure. Nobody wants to fail, but we all have to. We all have to fail, or we all have to struggle, or we all have to put out stuff that is cringy, that makes us like, oh, cringe in our seats to get to the other side of that. No, you can't get to the other side without actually doing it. And I'm such a huge believer in that. I'm passionate about that. And I want everyone to feel a little safer and stronger to do it and get at it. And so what happens if you fail? You'll be embarrassed. Yeah, we've all been there. We've all been there. And it's not fun. It really, really isn't. I'm just thinking now, like even within the podcast itself, like there's still things that are really out of my comfort zone and are really hard for me. And I'm scared of failing or rejection. Rejection is another huge fear, right? Nobody likes to feel rejected. And so my struggle with the podcast is like, I want to monetize. I want to get sponsors. I want people to invest in my podcast. And it's scary. I don't know exactly how. I am scared of being rejected. I'm scared of not being good enough. I'm scared of, being just like, oh, another podcast. What do you have to offer the world? And so that is something currently that I am constantly facing. And it's like my project of the year is to not let that be a fear and to not let that stop me and to put myself out there in all the ways that I need to and I want to. So that's my little vulnerable share. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for those very special people who sent their voice notes, even on short notice. Thank you to Ellie, my producer, who is just a perfectionist and makes sure this podcast is what it is. Thank you, Ellie. Anyhow, can't wait to see you next time. And once again, when I ask you for voice notes, talk about going out of your comfort zone. What's going to happen if you send me a voice note? It could be anonymous even. Why don't you practice going out of your comfort zone on me? I'll keep you safe. I got you. a little like, this is a little like dip your toes in and going out of your comfort zone. So many people are scared and like don't want their voices out there, or I don't know, they're scared. And I think it's time to not let that stop you. See you next time. Okay, so this podcast does not happen by itself. The magic takes a whole group of amazing people, and I want to tell you who those people are. So obviously I'm your host, Chavie. Our producer and creative director is Eli Ben-Chion. He keeps me on my toes. He makes sure that I just keep growing and am on point and don't miss a beat. He's the best. Audio is edited and mixed by Reed Seeley. Also, unbelievable. He's so cool, calm, and collected. You kind of need that working with me. And the music, which is beautiful, is by Basia Schechter and Shaul Magid. And this is Totally Unexpected.